How's it going, guys? My name is Checker and welcome to today's video. Today we're taking a look at every single legendary Vladof AR in Borderlands 3. These are going to be in no particular order, but do keep in mind that this footage was recorded on a level 50 Moze in true Vault Hunter mode. There is no mayhem activated to keep things nice and even, and all of these guns were farmed via world drops. Starting off this video, we have The Damned. Red text reading, well, I'll be. The Damned is a unique Vladof AR as it has a weapon shield similar to Hyperion weapons. As you can see, weapon shield capacity 3041. Damage to projected front-facing shield reflects bullets back at the attackers. As far as my thoughts go on the Vladof Damned, it's a good, solid AR. There really aren't any weird or special quirks about it other than the shield, of course. It simply deals consistent damage at a high fire rate, just like many other Vladofs. Is it the best weapon on this list? Nope, not by a long shot. But it's also not the worst, making the Damned a pretty decent, like I said, overall gun, especially on Moze. Mine currently does not have an element, but I have seen some with elements on them. But even if you don't have an element on it, playing with a character like Amara can still add those bonuses to it. If I had one gripe with this gun, it's the lower magazine size that I have on mine, as 40 is certainly not the highest magazine size you can see on Vladof legendaries. Other than that, good, great, solid weapon. Moving on, we have the Ogre making a return to Borderlands 3. Red text reading, it's all Ogre now. Take note, it has this weird kind of funky green skin on it, which I think looks pretty dang cool. But where the Damned was more of a standard Vladof AR, the Ogre is certainly unique, as it shoots projectiles at a slightly slower rate of fire, but also does deal splash damage. Mine, once again, does not have an element on it. I do believe that the Ogre cannot come with an element. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty dang sure that the Ogre is non-elemental. But we do have that splash damage, which of course makes up for it. Overall, it's a really solid rifle, probably once again not the best Vladof AR, but certainly much better than it was in Borderlands 2. The only complaint I can even think of having with this gun is potentially the fact that it's just kind of abnormal. Some people simply might not like this gun. I have a friend that does not like this gun, so that could certainly be an issue here. But for me personally, I think that the Ogre is a great weapon. Happy to see it back here in Borderlands, and happy to see it much better than it was in Borderlands 2. Moving on, we have the Sickle, which I would consider to be the worst Vladof legendary AR in the game. Red text reads, swing the Sickle, consumes 2 ammo per shot. Notice we have a fire rate of 1.82 seconds. That's quite low on a Vladof. We also have a magazine size of 13, also quite low for a Vladof. So what's the deal here? What's going on? Well, the Sickle is technically an assault rifle, but really doesn't act like one. As you guys are seeing right now, the Sickle shoots pretty much like a shotgun. We have 10 pellets. The damage output per shot is actually quite high, which might make up for the low fire rate and magazine size, but in my opinion, it simply does not. It's a great concept. I love it just because it is something different, something out of the ordinary, and perhaps I would like it a lot more if it was a bit more accurate. The spread pattern for me personally has just been wildly inaccurate and random, making it really hard to make sure that you're placing shots on target. You could, however, make the argument that this is just a really good ammo-consuming shotgun, as typically you're going to be able to hold more AR ammo than you would shotgun ammo. So yes, in a way, it's essentially just a shotgun that you can carry a ton of ammo for. But overall, I personally did not enjoy the Sickle. Your results may vary. Moving on, we have the Dictator, the first AR on this list to have an alternate firing mode. Red text reads, let them hate me so that they will but fear me. Also note that the damage does have a multiplier of 3, as this gun does shoot 3 different projectiles. The Dictator is the gun that I really want to love, but kind of can't help but also hate at the same time. You know, kind of like the movie. It's good, I love it, it's unique, it can be really overpowered in certain situations, but the weapon simply for me just seems a bit too specific. And a lot of the time, I feel that the Dictator just simply isn't really meeting my needs, or at least not as well as some other weapons could. I find the spread of bullets in most situations to be quite a bit way too much. But that also introduces its unique ability. Switching firing modes grants you this chaos as you see before you. Need to clear a room? Okay, this can probably get the job done. It's odd, it's weird, it's very specific, but it does work in those specific circumstances. So again, I'm just kind of torn on the Dictator. If it's the only legendary you have, yeah, it's gonna be great. But if you compare it to other Vladof legendaries, It's okay, it has its moment, but certainly in my opinion kind of a meh AR. But moving on, here we have some of the best ARs. I know I said that this is going to be in no particular order, it's just kind of happening that we're having some of the best ones for last. Moving on, we have the Shredifier. This thing is, it shreds, obviously. Red text reads, speed kills. We also have a 15% weapon fire rate on here, so pretty cool. Can fire 2 chain gun barrels at the same time. Yes, that is the alternate firing mode. You simply swap the 2 barrels. You do get worse accuracy, but you do also increase your fire rate by, may I presume, 2 times? Take note of the fire rate being 16.9 and magazine size of 110. It kind of needs to be. Yes, the Shredifier is back. If you thought it didn't have enough barrels in Borderlands 2, well, it has even more now. And I would even argue that it's a lot better on Borderlands 3 than it was on Borderlands 2. The name of the game with the Shredifier is smaller targets, 1 barrel, bigger, beefier target up close, 2 barrels. Simple as that. And of course, this being the Shredifier, it's wonderful on Moes. It's just great. I have also used this on Amara, not quite as good, simply due to the fact that reloading is kind of a pain. But if you have plenty of ammo and a tired trigger finger, the Shredifier, you can't go wrong with it. Definitely, in my opinion, one of the best Vladof ARs in the game, and certainly the best that we have covered thus far in this video, in my opinion, of course. Moving on, we have the Lucian's Call, an interesting Vladof AR. Red text reads, what happened? And yeah, yeah, that's kind of accurate. Critical hits return 2 bullets in your magazine and ricochet 2 bullets at the nearest enemy. I happen to have a cryo one here, which absolutely destroys enemies. It's pretty great. We have a fire rate of 10.67, so this is slower than the Shredifier. We do also have a magazine size of 60 on my current Lucian's Call. This, like the Damned, I would probably consider to be kind of a middle of the road legendary Vladof. It's a good, solid weapon, hasn't been my best, hasn't been my worst. Certainly a very usable weapon, so hey, can't really complain. If this happens to be your first legendary Vladof AR, you will not be disappointed. That brings us to our last and final legendary Vladof weapon, the best one in my opinion. So once again, contradicting myself, this was kind of in some particular order. But we have the Phasor AR Vladof Legendary. This thing is an absolute beast, and honestly probably has to be one of my favorite guns in the game thus far. Red text reads, set phasers to kill. I happen to have a nuclear one, which is just lovely, but this is pretty much everything you would want in a Vladof AR. Decent damage, decent fire rate, decent magazine size, but it also has something special. Mine happens to have a underbarrel shotgun on it, which is pretty fun. Out of all the legendaries we've had on this list, this is just by far my favorite. I hope you can see why. The damage output there, everything about this is, in my opinion, perfect, especially on Moes. So yeah, for me personally, this is my favorite of the Vladof legendaries. It doesn't mean that it is the best or anything like that. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that this is my favorite out of all of them. As far as any cons for the gun go, I really just haven't encountered any. It's a great weapon, I love it, it's perfect in my opinion. But anyway guys, those were all of the Vladof legendary ARs here in the base game of Borderlands 3. This video took quite a while to make, so if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. But I, of course, will talk to you guys next time.